Oh my God. So I just left my coffee sitting on my desk and I went up and I was chatting to Cherish and then I made myself some toast for like 20 minutes. And my coffee's still hot. It is 39 degrees here today. It was 39 degrees here yesterday and it's 39 degrees here tomorrow. It was a low of 28 last night. I've had like 3 hours sleep.
That's a low. Jesus. God,
so right now I'm sitting in a garage and my balls are roasting.
Yeah, no, that is, you guys are cooking yourselves. That's ridiculous.
Oh man, it's 10 shades of crazy. Like, it makes no logical sense.
Dorks Down Under.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dorks Down Under, the podcast, where we are going to be discussing this week's nerdy news. And joining me all the way in Australia, we have Dez Mags. Welcome to the podcast again, Dez, my co-host.
What is happening? I am here in body.
We are here for Season 3, Episode 8. And this one is a review. We're going to be reviewing the new Netflix movie, Damsel. I've got opinions on this movie already.
Oh, no.
I've got opinions, brother. Oh, we got big opinions on this. But before that, we've got two other things to discuss. The first thing we need to get out of the way, the sad, horrible, horrific news happened this week that was released, which was with regards to Akira Toriyama, the well-known and beloved...
I wouldn't have said...
Oh yeah, I'm smashing it today. How about I say? Sadly, he died of a subdermal hematoma. So he's passed away. He's been buried in a private ceremony and everything else, which is lovely. The fact is that it's very sad. He is the co-creator. Well, he is the original creator of Dragon Ball, the entire franchise, as well as a slew of other things. I mean, I had a quick look to see. I thought, I'll just rattle off some. Just rattle off a couple. He has so many things that he has created.
I was going to say, though, even if it was only Dragon Ball is already a great feather in the hat, and that would already be like, if that's your life work, I'm like, that is hella impressive.
Oh, yeah. The fact is that if it was just Dragon Ball, and maybe another thing here or there, fine. This guy has been doing anime since 1977, and I've got like a page and a half worth of stuff.
Jesus Christ.
On Wiki. The fact is, this man, dear Lord, it is impressive the amount of anime that he has helped. And this is just the anime that he did. This is not the stuff he co-created on. Because I believe he worked on Naruto with Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So, God, if we were talking adding in all that as well, this man has been a busy lad.
I won't lie though, I didn't, like, when he passed, obviously it came up with all these things. I'm not as big into anime as you are, but it came up with all these things, and then obviously I did Google him, and I'm like, I feel like if it was big in anime, he had some hand in it.
Well, this is the thing, I only found out because suddenly, I was doom scrolling through TikTok, and it popped up saying, it was one of these slidey picture ones where it's like, and the first slide said, whenever someone tells you that anime is just a silly cartoon, I thought, this is going to be interesting. So I swiped across, and it's Goku carrying the Mexican flag, and it says the Mexican it's been posted from Twitter. The Mexican cartels have called a ceasefire in relation to honor Akira Toriyama. I'm like,
oh shit!
What? I was like, what do you mean honor? I thought that's a bit weird. Why would they suddenly do that? And then suddenly the next TikTok came up, and then suddenly it's like, about him. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell?
Far out.
So yeah, I'm learning my world news from TikTok. At least I didn't learn it from the bloody stupid SpongeBob Newsfish one, because that's normally where I find out the
SpongeBob
shocking...
Newsfish? What?
Oh, breaking news! It's in the show, in SpongeBob SquarePants, they had this newscaster who's this fish, and he goes, breaking news! And it's just from the side like that.
Oh.
And some guy has recreated it on TikTok, and he does that, and he does like round the world stories. And the amount of times I've discovered something that has been major change, and I'm finding it out from the stupid fish on Bikini Bottom is ridiculous.
Rightio.
But yeah. So very sad news to start off a podcast episode.
Yeah.
So we'll jump along quite nicely, because there was a new trailer released this week,
Yes.
which looks sick.
We are kind of becoming the
Massively
trailer
awesome.
show all of a sudden, but we don't mean
We are
to
because
be.
this podcast is becoming more of a movie and trailer review. It is getting ridiculous. But we got the new Amazon. Yeah, it was Amazon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
Amazon
Amazon.
Prime,
Yeah,
yep.
Amazon Prime series for Fallout. And I tell you what, I think just from the trailer alone, I'm already hyped. I'm really invested. I cannot wait. This looks great. I mean, tends to be. Let's be honest. Video games, live action, doesn't tend to work very well because generally you're talking about sci-fi or fantasy and stuff. But the fact is, the Fallout is just dystopian future, and The Walking Dead, everybody loves all that sort of show. So realistically, we're just stealing views from them.
I had a question. So, do you feel like the anime / video game series is going to be like the next Marvel DC genre that we start to move towards? Because obviously, we also heard release, and if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It is one of the best things that Jordan sent me ever, other than when he sends me dick pics. He's like, hello. Ali, he's like, shh, Ali can hear. No, but seriously, it was the announcement of The Last Airbender. And it was the most adorable thing. So you had all the kids, you had the old gentleman whose name I can't remember, and then Daniel Kim from obviously Lost, and who was the Fire Lord, and he was talking to them, and he was like, listen, so I had a meeting with Netflix today. It's very sensitive news, so they asked me to do it. It may not be the news that you want to hear. They said at this time they can't release, or they can't announce that they're going to renew for Series 2. And you just saw all these kids who obviously had loved this project. Like, even at the start, you saw them joking and mucking around. And you just saw their heartfelt. And then he's like, but, he goes, there is some good news at the end of the tunnel. They have announced that they have renewed us for Season 2 and Season 3. And watch them all go crazy. And then all of them just go, oh my God, but how did you do this to us? Just go watch it. I know that I've just ruined what it says, but it is one of the most beautiful films ever. And it's the real and raw emotion is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, so the fact is that we are probably going to get... I would like to think what they do, if they're smart enough, is they'll make Season 2 a bit longer, maybe even Season 3... Or, Season 2 is a long season, and Season 3 is like a mid-length, and then you can probably do the entire... because there are a lot of filler episodes, as I believe, in the original animation, so the fact is that they could skip them. They could do what they did with the One Piece, where they skipped over a load of filler episodes that were just there for no reason.
I'm just devastated that they've only announced One Piece for one, and it was bigger than The Last Airbender. And I'm like,
Yeah. Although, I think they're still hedging their bets because the One Piece series is a very large series and it's still going, sort of thing. Yeah. So maybe they're like, right, we're not gonna give you 3 seasons. We'll give you on rolling, ongoing to see if we can.
Plus, also, I do know that it's one of the most expensive series that Netflix ever made.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of CGI and stuff like that, and it's only going to get more with some of the newer, pirate members that join the crew. There's a guy, if I remember right, there's a guy who's literally he's like a skeleton, sort of thing, which would be interesting to see how they do that. So anyway, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so Fallout looks amazing.
I must say, I've only ever played it probably about a dozen times. Like, it's not something that I've sunk a lot of time into. But that being said, I have seen so much of it. I had friends that loved it. One of my friends, who was a streamer, played it from start to finish, and I remember watching it with him. And it's weird. There are certain games where I'm like, I need to play this. Pell World's one of those. I really want to play it. But for some reason, Fallout, I'm like, I really enjoyed watching it. I loved watching it. But I still went, it doesn't really worry me if I play it or not. And the same thing happened with Zoe, my old housemate that I spoke about last week. Gears of War, I was obsessed with Gears of War. So when the new one came out, I started playing. I got home a little bit late. I started playing and she started watching it. And I'm like, you can play the second player. She's like, no, I'm tired. I'm just going to watch it. To the point where it took me, I think it was 7 days after work to clock it, to the point where I wasn't allowed to start playing until she got home because she wanted to watch it. And I feel like it's one of those games, Fallout was one of those games for me. But that being said, this series looks insane. And
I have to say, Fallout New Vegas, my friend had it and I ended up watching it and I thought that was really cool. And then I got Fallout New Vegas, loved that. That was really cool. And then I got Fallout 4. I think that was a couple of years before I moved here. And I played that on and off because it was a bit more open worldy, so it was a bit, yes, there was a story behind. I mean, one thing I found about all the video gaming I've done is I ideally, if it is a story-based game, so there is a start and an end, I like to be able to be driven somewhat by, you need to go to here.
Yeah, so do I.
I like that. Whereas, like, for example, I'm playing Helldivers. There isn't a story. It's a very, very much a drop-in, drop-out game. Yeah. I can jump on, I can do 2 missions, then jump off, and then I'll do another couple later on, or whatever sort of thing. It's quite nice that there is a narrative. We're being pushed on 2 fronts for vying, against enemies on 2 fronts.
Yeah,
and there's major orders, and there's ways to swing how you're going to play. But the fact is that there's no, we're here to liberate this and save the princess and it's like blah blah blah. You've got your little missions, and it's there we go, drop in, do this, do that, do that.
Yeah, because I'm very much like that. Like, if you've ever seen any of mine streams when I was streaming over whatchamacallit,
on Twitch.
Yeah, over on COVID, during COVID. I played WoW, and obviously numbers and food time were amazing. They helped me through that. But to the point where I did kind of just get like a little bit like I would wander. Food time was amazing because he would understand because I was excited and I was just like, ooh. And I was like, go off and I'm like, I want to get this pet or I want to get this. But then numbers would kind of get frustrated because there would be times where they would be going towards something and then next I'm on the other side of the map because I've seen something pretty.
Yeah.
And I find with real world games, I get that a lot where I just kind of go, and go for a wander.
There's nothing wrong with that. I about to say, I loved, we're talking about a bit of when Warhammer Online, so Warhammer Fantasy Online was a thing. So they were going for WoW. They were trying to basically make the WoW, but it was obviously Warhammer Fantasy based. And the fact is that game encouraged you to wander. So the fact is that you would find all these little Easter eggs. Like there was the tavern in, if you went to the capital city, there was the tavern where you could meet Gotrek and Felix, and it would unlock an award because you met heroes and stuff like that. So there was actually rewards for like exploring an area and finding all these little tidbits.
For getting sidetracked.
Yeah, no, so because they realised that some people wanted just to go on, run around, do PvP. Fine. There were some people who wanted to get on and 100% stuff. Fine. And then there's the people who were like, I'm bored now. I want to go for a wander. I want to go do some farming. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so that's what would happen. So I think so.
Yeah, I do find that. I just find that sometimes I get excited and I'm like, I just want to explore stuff. And I am somebody too that I'm like, I'll kill these 5 things or I'll kill this. And then before I know it, I have killed all this stuff, but I'm like, I'm just going to go for a wander and explore stuff.
Well, to be fair, it's like, in World of Warcraft, they actually have things dotted around, and suddenly it's like a little monument, and you're like, why is this here? And you found out that it's a developer put it in for a Make-A-Wish kid or something like that.
Yeah, right. That's amazing.
Or, and suddenly, but you've got to, there's no sort of thing there. You've got to look at, you end up posting up on a forum or on a Facebook group saying, I found this, what the hell's this? And someone goes, do you not know about this? Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Explains me.
Well, the good thing was I had Food Time. Food Time was my encyclopedia of WoW.
Yeah.
Like, I love that boy when it comes to WoW. This boy knows everything. He did hop in my chat at one point and call me a fuckwit on my stream. And I'm like, what? Because I remember I told you that story where I got the celestial little pug, and I was like, yes, and I'm like playing with the pug, and I'm running around like a moron. And then he literally got on the stream. He's like, "Fuckwit, open your bag." I was like, "Oh," and I opened my bag, and sure enough, there was the actual mount there. But I'm like, that's one game where I'm like, once I move in and once I've worked out all my thingos, I would love to get back into it, even if it's just to play it once or twice a week. It's just a lot of fun.
To be fair, I ended up really enjoying. I ended up getting one of the books, like the first books, because there's a novel series that follows through.
Oh no, I think I packed it. I had one of the books, but it was the cookbook.
And I started off. The cookbook's fun. But I ended up reading like one of the novels, and then suddenly, next thing I know, I was down the rabbit hole, and I was, and I'm reading all these trilogies of novels that relate to all the expansion packs and all this chat. And I got so far down the rabbit hole, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, you shouldn't be allowed around that because you've already had that.
I am.
You've already had that issue with Black is it Black Library? Black Library.
Oh yeah, I had a serious addiction to Black Library, especially when you realise I was getting the books at half price. I was really bad.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you've already formed that book addiction with the series. So the problem is when we bring in that, it's just the new addiction. But
oh yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so Fallout. Very excited. It looks great.
Yes.
Amazon haven't skimped on some of the CGI, and even the ghouls look great. You know, the guy who's in the trailer looks amazing, sort of thing. I can't wait to. Hopefully, we get to see some super mutants.
Well, one thing that I think I'm starting to like is that companies now are not being like, I need to water this down for people that haven't seen it. I need to water it down. They're just staying so true to either the game, the anime, or the comic book. Yes, they're getting rid of some of the filler, which some fans may not be a fan of. But by doing that, it's making it accessible for the people that are interested in it that may not have seen the anime or seen the video game. But it gives it a lot more true form, so they don't have to think as much because it's all like spelt out there for them perfectly.
Yeah, it's mainstreaming it realistically, and which is fine. And I've got no problem. I mean, there are certain things you can't change in certain. You know, it's like, for example, when I'm trying to think of an example now. Like when they did, obviously when they whitewashed Death Note the movie sort of thing. I was like, that was a big no, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
sort of thing and stuff like that. So I think that now because major production companies have thrown money at movies to try and generate and switch people up into it, and they've realised they made big mistakes. Like, right, we've got to kind of stick as close as we can. Maybe they've got to change a couple of little things here and there, you know, make it more PC a little bit. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it's some things you can't mess with the anime community.
Yeah,
on
I
their
love
shows.
that they're staying very true to the art. Where obviously there has been some where obviously it's been whitewashed, and then some the exact opposite where we've put people in for no reason. And I think that the perfect thing for me personally was The Last Airbender, where they managed to keep it to feel beautifully cohesive. It didn't feel like something was forced. It didn't feel like there was something in there. And don't get me wrong, I'm very much that if X is the best actress or actor for this role, give it to them, no matter what their colour, this, that, and the other. But I do think that there are some times where we're like, we're only going to do X because of this, where I'm like, okay, that seems a bit weird. Why not put it to the market? And if that actress or actor happens to be the best person, then by all means, go with them. But
absolutely,
I think sometimes it's a bit too forced for my liking, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, no, I do get where you're coming from with that. But yeah, so anyway, Fallout, very excited. Right, let's get to Damsel. Now, I hate when you go, I've got opinions, because I'm like, he's going to shit on it. Okay, listen. Me and Elle, because obviously as I discussed a couple of shows ago, we discussed that I was reading the Fourth Wing series with Elle. You know, Elle's read the first one, she got me on it I took it camping, I blitzed through that.
Oh yeah,
she had just finished the second
sex story you tried to get me to
read. It's the dragony one that's actually quite good.
I've got it on my Kindle, I just haven't started reading it yet.
It's a good read. It's a very good read. It's a good way to get boys into reading.
I've got a little dragon here, don't get too turned on, Jordan.
Oh, I'll try not to.
Well, actually, I got like 2 dragons. Thank you, MSI, for sponsoring my desk. And I also have a random snail. I bought this yesterday, and I kind of love it.
Lovely, Death.
I was just thinking. So, I walked past it, and I'm like, I really like that snail. And Cherish just went, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, I'm gonna buy it. And she's like, "Where are you gonna put it?" I'm like, on my desk because I want to be cool. And she's just walked past it now and gone, it's kind of weird. I'm like, I know, and I love it. So his name's Jeffrey.
He's Jeffrey the Snail.
Jeffrey the Snail is now a new podcast mascot.
Very nice. Right, so Damsel. Now, Ellie sent me the trailer for this when she found it about, I think it was like a month or maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that. So she sent it to me. She went, I know it's coming out soon. Can we watch it together when it comes out? And I was like, yeah, I saw the trailer, watched it through, and I thought, yeah, why not? We've just read Fourth Wing. Obviously it's not Fourth Wing, but I thought it might work sort of thing because it doesn't look like the sort of movie that Ellie would watch. But obviously she's been reading lots of fantasy stuff, and she's kind of like into it. And
she's got a dragon kink, so we thought, why not?
Yeah, so we ended up watching. So we ended up last night. We ended up watching the full thing because obviously it got released. I think it was Friday. It got released.
I don't know. Cherish said it came in Saturday morning, and then so she's like, "Oh, let's watch it last night."
Okay,
so
all right. So probably new release as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, which is fine. So first things first. Millie Bobby Brown, love her, great actress, very good. I actually have no problem with her acting in this. Even my man Ray Winstone, love him.
He's great.
I love.
Cherish had never heard of him, and I was like, he's been in so much stuff. He's gritty, he's brutal. She doesn't watch a lot of British stuff, so I would say that could be it. But I'm like, he is so good, and he plays that kind of that fat kind of pompous kind of like thingo. He literally plays. He seems to only play a king or an English gangster, and nothing in between.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's just great. But he plays those roles so good. And he was...
Although, to be fair, I did love him in Puss in Boots. He was Papa Bear in Puss in Boots.
That is true. And then we obviously also
which he's a gangster in it. So he's actually, he's good for
So he plays the exact role. This time he just plays a bear gangster.
He was in Black Widow, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was in Black Widow as well. Yeah, but he was...
He was Ultra Magnus or something like that, Uber, Alpha,
He was
Omega
the head of the Red Room. Yeah, he was the head of the Red Room. He was that weird guy there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's generally a bad guy most of the time.
Yeah, but he's such a good actor. And obviously you had Annette Bening, who plays the stepmother, a brilliant actress, amazing. Obviously got nominated for Academy Award for, for Black Panther. And then obviously you have the other queen, who, let's see if we can get who that is from. So just by the phrase, "as you wish." No.
As you wish.
So Carrie Eves, Andre the Giant. So the queen of the prince is actually the chick from The Princess Bride.
Oh, I've never seen it.
What?
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. What?
That is like one of my favourite movies. It is such a clever film. And not to mention it has Andre the Giant in it.
I'm aware of it. I've just never seen it. So I was like, oh, she was Jenny in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure she was also in... I think she was in Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah, she was Antiope. She was the original. She was the first Amazon to get the golden armor. It was one of those things. But anyway, yeah, no. So anyway, first things first. Casting, loved it. No problem with the casting. Thought it was really good.
I must say, I did like Billy Bobby Brown and her sister's relationship. That was really adorable.
Well, it was kind of that fantasy genre. Oh, yes, I'm doing it for the kingdom, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. You got the younger sister who's just so excited. Oh, my God, you get to do this, and I don't get to do it, and blah, blah, blah. So I actually had no problem with that. I thought it was quite good. First thing, I was disappointed in the size of the dragon, for a start off. That was a problem. To me, the dragon was tiny.
It wasn't that... his claw went into the dude's chest.
Yeah.
So, which means his hand's got to be bigger than a human. It was a decent size.
No, don't get me wrong. In terms of for fighting humans, yes, big, fine. But the problem is, when I think dragon, I think Smaug. All right, I'm thinking Smaug. That's a dragon. This thing should be huge. This thing should take up a cabin.
You also remember too, though, that Smaug is a boy. This one's a girl. Girl dragons are smaller.
Hang on. No, generally.
I don't even know.
Generally, in most of the reptilian kingdom, females are bigger than males, sort of thing. But anyway, that's by the point. I'm sure that's entirely wrong, and I'm about to get pulled up.
I didn't have a problem with that, because I thought the dragon was big enough for what it needed to be, and obviously where it lived and stuff like that. It didn't need to be this ridiculously massive dragon, and it was still big enough.
Now, what was interesting, I liked the... Because what was really funny about it, I was laughing at one point during the movie because Ellie kept having to throw pillows, because Ellie doesn't like suspense. You know, she hates jump scares.
Oh my God.
It's fun. So the fact is that basically she's the one who's chose this movie, okay? And the fact is the amount of jump scares that happen in the, once the main body of the movie happens.
I'm trying to think of any jump scares.
Oh, well, there's bits where the dragon's just suddenly, suddenly it's all suspenseful, then the dragon says something, or, because basically the dragon's obviously hunting her through the cave, which was interesting. It was a bit weird. The fact is, right, I'm going to get to the gripes now, right? Okay, so, the girls have found there's a safe spot, okay, fine, alright, some girls choose to die there, some choose to escape.
Yeah.
How did the escape plans get put onto the map?
My guess is
no offense, right? If I've escaped, if I've gotten out and I've gone, I ain't going back into update a map.
Nobody escaped.
Yeah, but that's the thing. No. But this is the thing, right? So I think it was Victoria. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one of the random princesses did it, right? She's marked this thing. Then there's crystals. You climb up, and then there's sunshine and all this. And I thought that's great. But you find out that she died at the top of the.
But did you also notice too, though, that I'm guessing what's happened is she's gone that way, seen the sunshine, gone back to a safe spot, get all her stuff, draw the map for anybody else, because you noticed that she put sunshine. She didn't actually put the exit. She didn't put that they escaped that way.
Yeah.
So that obviously when you did get to there,
so
Millie Bobby Brown realises there's about a. So she's probably looked up and gone, "There's sunshine. I can get out that way, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to get myself prepared because it's a long climb up and it's over these razor-sharp crystals." So she's probably come back. And then obviously when she gets up there, she puts a V in there to say that she's been there. Unfortunately, then you find her that she's been set on fire because it is just like this massive drop all the way down and you can't get down.
No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. There's too many plot holes on that. But yeah.
But it's not really, because to be fair though, because if she climbed all the way up there, she wouldn't put sunshine because chances are it would not have actually done it. It would not have actually, she would have escaped and would have been fine.
Maybe. Right, okay. Then there's the other thing, right? Okay. The other thing I have, right? Okay, so the dragon is aware of when someone gets, obviously when they start doing the screaming and everything, wake her up, fine, completely fine. But you're talking about the fact that she says, "Oh, I can smell it in your blood." Fine, not an issue. Got no problem. Gigantic dragon probably has decent breath. Probably has good nasal cavities. Can probably smell things from down the reptilian line. With snakes and everything else, they can smell really good. Okay, you need to tell me she can hide behind a column. While watching her father die and the dragon's torturing her, and she can't smell her from
She did say that.
20...
She said, "I can smell that she's hiding." But the problem is she couldn't tell exactly where she is. So obviously when they cut her and then the royal blood's put on top, obviously the top layer of blood is the royal blood. That's what it's smelling. And even then, she could smell it, but she couldn't necessarily find her even then. So at no point did she says, "I can smell the royal blood," and look straight at her.
I know, but that's the thing. It just doesn't make any sense. This thing is a gigantic dragon, right? It has better eyes. It's reptilian. It's going to have better eyes. It's going to have stronger stuff. The fact is, this thing should be able to pinprick any changes inside of the cave. Should be able to track it down immediately. It was ridiculous.
Okay, but you've also got to remember too, though, massive caverns, massive amounts of echo. Wind flows coming in from different areas. The smell's changing. They're going to be able to tell that they're nearby, like she could. But they couldn't tell exactly and couldn't pinpoint where it is because obviously there's wind gusts and flows and stuff within natural caverns. It's echoey, so they're not going to find it. My only problem was Billy Bobby Brown, everything she did, she screamed and moaned about, which made the dragon find her. That was my only real gripe, was she's like, climbing up this rope. And I'm like, you're trying to be quiet. Like, I get that it's probably hard work.
You've been quiet this
entire
time.
But for right now, shut the fuck up. Or she'd say something. But I did.
I bet, and don't get me started on the birds. All right, that really annoyed me, sort of thing.
Why?
Because why? Well, the flame, So there's this the indicator thing where there's these flaming birds. She finds one, and then there's a whole flock of them because obviously the dragons got cheesed off at birds for some reason. But no offense, we're in a cave
with multiple.
Why is it not bats?
That's true. I would have expected
why
bats.
Would birds would for no reason would birds go? I mean, they might roost in there a little bit,
yeah.
But they certainly wouldn't be all the way down in the barrels.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But to be fair though, they could come in from the roof where they dropped into the main cavern or something like that. But I do agree with you. I do think it should have been bats.
It should have been bats. It should have been. It's just because when when she finds the first one, I thought, my mind saw it as a bat. And then suddenly I realised, oh no, they're birds. And I was like, why the hell are they birds?
I actually agree with you. The first time I saw the first one when she's trying to put it out on fire, I genuinely thought it was a bat. But then I found out it wasn't, and I'm like, what the hell?
I know, but literally, at that point, right, it kind of jarred me out of the movie. And then I started looking at stuff with a critical eye, and I was getting progressively more annoyed with the movie. So, in terms of storyline, I was with it up until the ending. Up until the ending after the dragon kills the royal family.
Yes.
Okay? I was with it the entire way, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like how it ended, because they're travelling and the dragon is their pet now? Or
there's a friendship there, so they're obviously...
Yeah, but it didn't make it, there was nothing said, so it's...
I must say, I did like the ending.
I'm getting so angry.
I must say, I did like the ending until that point. And I agree, two things that I really liked. I did like the ending, how that she, rather than killing her, she obviously saved the dragon and said, see, not all humans are the same, that kind of thing. I thought that was really clever. I also thought, Jesus Christ, is either those little guys have healed her eye, her wing, her hand, everything in a matter of about 25 minutes, or she's just stayed and chilled out there talking to the dragon, getting to know it while it's healing, and it's taken them like a week to get back into town, or a month to get back in town. But one thing I really did like, though, and is something very different, is when it breathes fire. Because it wasn't entirely fire, it was almost like a mixture of fire with almost like lava kind of thing.
It was like spew. It was like it was spewing.
It was almost like napalm. I would say is probably the easiest way.
It was like Agent Orange. It was firing Agent Orange.
But I actually didn't hate that, because when you think about it, if two chemicals mix together, unless they aerosol at that time, chances are what's going to happen is you're going to bring something up that's going to turn. And I liked that it had that flow. And I must say, I'm like, that was actually a really nice touch, and something that I was like, wasn't expecting.
You know what?
That.
I actually agree with you on that. I actually think the fire was actually quite good.
Yeah.
It wasn't sort of typical dragon fire sort of thing. So it was quite nice to sort of see that. But yeah, so the ending. But here's the other gripe with the storyline I have, right? And it's quite a major one, because I'm aware, I've played a lot of video games, and I've read, I've War Historian and all this jazz. I very much know how screwed this person would have been, right?
Yes.
So her sister gets taken off the ship, right? Stepmom gets stabbed in the gut.
Yes.
Somewhere in the gut, right? Round here. Okay?
Yeah, it looks like it's in the side, which means you can kind of go...
side, but basically we're talking near intestines.
Possibly,
major damage.
If she's lucky, it's got that 2-inch gap between it and...
Yeah, okay, but we're talking threading the needle at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So somehow, they've done that, they've took the sister off and they've gone off. She somehow has gotten herself back up, bear in mind she must be in agony, has then gotten onto a horse, which is fully saddled and ready to go. Why? Why would one be left behind?
Considering that that wasn't their kingdom. They came over on a boat and then they were picked up. So she randomly found / stole a horse. Then she was able to ride to her.
And then she realised that they've already done they're taking her up to the cave. How? God knows. God knows how she knew they were going to the cave. Finds Millie. Millie
Bobby
I forgot her name.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, she finds Millie Bobby Brown. Finds her. Millie then takes her horse, which is, again, this horse shouldn't be here, period. We all know this. Okay, and then goes off to try and save her sister, completely fine. She then somehow survives on the top of this mountain to then get back down and then is healed. there's no exchange. The fact is, there is no exchange at any point between Millie saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, if you stick the slugs on you, you'll be fine."
Yeah.
Because don't get me started on the magic slugs, right?
That being said, though, she may have obviously come out with a couple of slugs and just been like, "Here, Mum, have one of these. Get one of these in you."
But it's really annoying because the fact is, I'm like, there's no way that even if she somehow got herself onto the horse, that horse wasn't coming up the mountain at speed. She would have bled out, surely. Yeah. Even trying to, like, internally.
One good thing, though, about those old school stuff, though, is corsets. Very good for placing pressure on a wound. So you can just put something under the boning, and it's actually quite tight. But yeah, that was one thing where part of me wished what had happened was she had made it towards the boat, and she'd seen her mum struggle out of the boat. And then what ended up happening was she stole a horse from somebody on the docks. That would have been fine.
You know what? That would have been fine. I would have allowed it. I would have still said, why was the horse left there? You know, we still would have had that conversation, but the fact is...
But I think had you... But in the dock, you would have had people riding up to the dock or people meeting somebody. So just to have her steal a horse of this kind of like little dock town, you'd be like, okay, cool, I understand that.
Maybe.
But even then, you're like...
I was still not on board. But yeah, but the fact that bit of the plot... Because literally when the movie ended... I was like, right, no way would someone with a gut wound be able to ride, let alone survive on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, she wouldn't be feeling great, I won't lie. She would be feeling pretty rough.
I was just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I was so angry. But yeah, so in terms of overall of the movie, I mean, I am aware that Rotten Tomatoes.
I want to say Rotten Tomato.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is going rated at 59% at the moment, sort of thing.
Now, I think that's a little bit low.
I personally... Now, you say, personally, I think it feels about right, because I was going to score the movie. I'm scoring it a 6, personally. Because did I enjoy it? Yes. Would I watch it again? No. And I'm an avid rewatcher. I love rewatching movies. I enjoy rereading books, rewatching movies, stuff like that. But do I have an urge to watch this movie again? No.
See, I quite liked it. I was going to give it like a 7.5, to be fair.
7.5. Now, the fact is that my favourite dragon film
is Rain of Fire.
Yes. Yeah, it's Rain of Fire. It is. Now, the fact
Matthew
is
McConaughey in that film is 10 shades of pointless. Like, he is just this ultimate badass that they just said, bro, you're going to be in this like 20 minutes. You're literally just going to be a badass that gets eaten by a dragon.
It's 20 minutes.
Flying through the air with an
dragon
axe.
Slayer.
And he's just like, this sounds ridiculous, I'm in. Like, it literally just sounds like, you know how you see some movies...
No, he didn't say I'm in, he went, alright.
100%. But you know when you see these films and they've got like top billing and it's like Bruce Willis, and then Bruce Willis is in it for like 4 minutes at the start,
3 seconds,
and then at the end he's like, good job guys, and he plays like the president. Matthew McConaughey feels like the first one of those type of roles, where he was second in the billing.
Yeah.
And that being said, those 20 minutes or whatever it was that he was in it was absolutely brilliant. I do love at the end, though, where he's trying to fight the dragon, he's throwing everything at it. So his idea is, I'm going to leap off this probably 150 to 160 metre building, and I'm going to leap off towards this dragon as it's flying towards me with nothing but an axe. And I'm like, bro, you do realise that the dragon could just be like, and just stop and just watch you plummet. And I'm like, what's an axe going to do? Like, it's not like you can move and kind of go shwah and chop his head off. You're about to get eaten.
It looks badass. But yeah, so this is the problem is that I've seen Rain of Fire. I love Rain of Fire. It's a really good movie. So the fact is that whenever a dragon movie comes out, that's the immediate... That's like my gold standard. Because is it a perfect movie, Rain of Fire? Absolutely not.
Is Matthew McConaughey perfect in that movie? 100%.
Oh yeah, Matthew McConaughey is perfect in it. He is the man for the job, and it's so good. But the problem is that the issue that I have is that no movie is ever really going to stack up to that. And this one, it tried, but as I said, like, I don't like the size of the dragon. It should have been bigger. At least, I reckon at least another 50% bigger.
But the problem is, if it's 50% bigger too, though, the chances of anybody actually defeating it It would have to change the entire story.
Which I agree with. I understood the proportionality of the dragon and why it was so. I just didn't like it. I just really did not like it.
But I feel like with Reign of Fire, with a lot of these dragon movies, they're so ridiculously big that it's kind of like fighting like Godzilla. And I'm like, and you see these humans bring some down or kill some, and I'm like, that is never ever going to happen when they're this big. Yeah. Not to mention their scales would be like fucking 17 inches thick. It'd be like shooting a harpoon at like a safe that's like 17 inches thick. It's not going to even make a dent.
Oh, don't get me started. Right. One thing that really cheesed me off, actually, was the king bit at the beginning, where you see the king and he's going there to save his people.
Or so he claims, yeah.
Also he claims. Okay. Why on God's green earth would you tell your soldiers to bunch up?
Yeah.
Form a line.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you? That is the single most stupidest idea against a fire-breathing dragon. Literally, I said to her, I was like, no. See, tactics-wise, what do you want to do? This sounds like obviously I've got personal experience.
Settle down, Gandalf.
What you want to do is you want to spread out as well as you can. So one guy's going to get picked off, and the rest of them can sort of do whatever they need to do. But I was like, oh my god, I was actually approaching this movie from a tactical standpoint.
I know, which is 10 shades ridiculous, but I'm like,
oh yeah,
he's going to do that anyway.
And then it's like, once his front line's gone, he's went, form up on me. Oh, because that's a genius idea as well.
I must say though, like the way that the dragon kills them, I must say I love that kind of scene where it's not just like extreme fire, but because of the way that it's almost like a liquid flame almost.
Oh, yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant. There's so many really cool elements about it that I like. And that's why, I think Reign of Fire, when it comes to dragons, is just something next level. Like Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, just those three. And it's still funny to me that Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey have equal billing rights in that, which just is 10 shades ridiculous because Matthew McConaughey does not a lot, but to be fair, when he is there, he rolls up on a tank with a giant axe, and it just reminds me of that 40k meme where there's the guardsman on the tank, and he goes, "Bring me closer so I can hit them with my sword." And you're like, what the hell? And that's what it reminds me of, and it does make me a little bit happy. But I must say, I actually really thoroughly enjoyed this. This was so much better than I expected it to be.
Okay.
This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I liked the way they handled it. There were some plot points, but I don't think there was enough to be like, it's a 6. Not by a long shot.
Okay.
Like, I think...
okay. I honestly, I'm not going to disagree with your own personal scoring. Everyone has their own personal preference, but
you're just fucking wrong.
You are, my sir. The fact is, from a tactical standpoint, of taking on a dragon.
Yeah, I get if we're in real life, like I understand that kind of things. But I must say there was enough there that it kept me interesting. I thought it was actually a really good film overall. I liked the resilience of Billy Bobby Brown. I like how they set up her character to be intelligent as well as being kind of resilient with something as simple, and I must say credit to the writers, where something as simple as just her cutting wood at the start showed that there's a little bit of strength, there's a little bit of power. Some of the artwork that she did with the mazes and stuff obviously showed that she had a level of intellect and stuff like this. And I must say I was like really pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I didn't hate it. Was it the best movie I've ever seen? No. But did I really enjoy it? And I think that it was a good watch? 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, we can agree to disagree on that. Well, the fact that I think. So what? If I'm 6 and you're 7.5, that's what?
About a 6.75.
Yeah, six and 3/4 sort of thing. So everyone, I would actually be interested to hear what people's comments are.
I must say, I really think for anybody that is listening, go watch it. It is actually a really fun watch. And I think it is one of those things that unless you go too far into it and start to think like you're Winston Churchill and tactical mastermind extraordinaire like Jordan is, I think overall it is a really fun movie. And I think there's some beautiful parts in it that are handled really well, really clever. There's a beautiful flow to it where it allows for these kind of ebbs and flows and this steady incline of danger as well as giving you some low points to try to connect with the characters. I personally think it was handled incredibly, incredibly well.
Mm. To be fair, I mean, yeah, I do. It's certainly watch it once, and I think it's going to be one of these movies that you either like or you don't like. It's one or the other, realistically. To be fair, there is another movie on Netflix I do kind of want to watch, but it's kind of, I know it's a me movie, not a me and Ellie movie, because I know it's probably got suspense and thriller in, and it's the new Adam Sandler movie.
Debbie Does Dallas 16?
No, it's the new Adam Sandler movie. The
Spaceman or something. Yeah, I saw that on the downloading services that are completely and utterly legal.
The only reason I don't want to watch it is because the alien co-star thing in it is very Spider-esque, and I don't deal with Spider.
Oh, okay. So it's got here. So I just brought it up because I was able to have it in. This is an intergalactic odyssey of love, ambition, and self-discovery. Orphaned as a boy, raised in the Czech countryside by a doting grandmother, Jacob Thing. I'm not going to pronounce his last name because it's just probably going to swear at you in Czech. Has arisen from small-time scientist to become the country's first astronaut. When a dangerous solo mission to Venus offers him both the chance of heroism he's dreamed of and the way to atone for his father's sins as the communist informer. He ventures boldly into the vast unknown, but in doing so he leaves behind his doting wife, whose love he realises too late. He has sacrificed on the altar of his ambitions. Lost in deep space, Jacob discovers a possibly imaginary giant alien spider who becomes his unlikely companion. Philosophy conversation. Philosophy. I'm not going to try to say that. After that word. No.
Physiology.
No, like philosophy. But
philosophy.
But it's the one with
philosophical.
That's the word I'm trying to say that I can't say. About the nature of love, life, and death, and the discovery of bacon. The pair form an intense and emotional bond. Will it be enough to see Jacob through a clash with his secret Russian rivals and return safely to Earth for a second chance with his wife? I'm like, ah. So it's a romance thing with a giant spider.
Yeah, but it's the giant spider thing I've got a problem with. Because I don't deal with spiders. But anyway, so that might be our next movie.
I just pulled up the shorts, and the spider looks spider-ish.
What do you mean, look spider? It is spider-ish.
Like, it looks like real
spider. Bad. Yes, I know.
I'm really hoping, too, that Adam Sandler actually does the accent rather than just talks.
I'm looking at the picture. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I was just about to send you one where it's got it in it. But, yeah, where it's got kind of like this Czech... I want him to have this like really bizarre Czech accent throughout the whole thing, but I have a feeling he's probably going to speak like an American.
I've got a feeling he's going to speak like an American as well. But anyway, so that might be the next movie we need to review together, sort of thing. But anyway,
it's just going to be Jordan. I'm like, oh, Jordan, what bit did you get up to? I got 23 minutes in. As soon as the spider rocked up, I got rid of it.
Oh yeah, I ran. Oh no, I'd literally, I will be sitting with a cushion.
Just remember who was ragging on Ali for jump scares, and then fucking Princess over here is like, oh, no. I can't do imaginary alien spiders.
Listen, right, okay. Everyone has their faults, and mine is spiders. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an acceptable phobia. Everyone agrees. You know, arachnophobia is the thing, and I've got no problem. I can deal with itty bitty spiders, okay, but there's a certain point where it goes from itty bitty, and it's like about there. I can't. After that,
after that, it becomes Australian spiders.
After that, it's like, you know what? I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah, they're called Australian spiders. Anything bigger than that is an Australian spider.
Can I just say this is the reason why I live in New Zealand, because as I've said previously, when God created your hellhole of a country and dialed up the evil of spiders and everything that could kill you to 10. For an experiment. Yeah. And he went, maybe what we need to do is just recreate that lifestyle, but we'll dial it. We'll put the safety rating back on.
We won't even let the birds fly there. That's how dialed down it is.
It is. That's the reason why. Because literally, I mean, my dear wife she did travel and did Australia's and that, you know, as a gap year thing. And she did all that, and she loves it. She's like, I can't wait to take you. And I'm like, nope.
I had a huntsman living in my room for like 3 months. His name was Harold.
Oh,
And then one day I left the window open and Harold disappeared. So he might have disappeared, or he may be under my bed, waiting to attack.
I don't know how.
They're harmless, mate.
I don't give a damn.
They're just big and hairy. They're like you, mate. Listen, they're just big and hairy. They're absolutely harmless.
I know I'm big and hairy and harmless. Trust me. But the fact is, when we went to Tasmania together, my friend, I was sweeping every room. I honestly, if I'd had a good,
I did notice you cleaned a lot. I couldn't.
I was walking it. Honest to God, I wish I had my booger salt because I would have been walking it. You would have seen me checking corners.
Because I remember you cleaning a fair bit, and I was like, bro, this place has just been professionally cleaned. I'm like, fuck it, let him do what he wants. Like, if he wants to clean, let him clean.
Honestly,
but that's why. It's because you're a giant, big girl's blouse.
I am a big girl's blouse, yeah. Oh, no, if we had found one, I wouldn't have walked into the house. I would have let you and Ellie deal with it.
He's like the house,
and happily lock myself in the car and be there.
It's just like when you see those videos and they walk into a room and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And they zoom in, it's a giant spider, and then they zoom out and they're like, "I'm just going to back away slowly. It's his house now." And the next thing you know, you just see his house on flames.
Yeah,
it was the only thing. It was the only thing worth doing.
That is literally a legitimate strategy in my opinion. I see nothing wrong with that strategy at all. I think that, if I find... I mean, the fact is, I know they're not as big as, like Syrian huntsmans, which they're like that.
What about those camel spiders?
Oh, that was it, a camel spider. Yeah, those absolutely not. I have seen videos of them with the army guys who've posted, absolutely not. I think I would actually just die of fright. I think I would actually die of fright. I think my heart would just give out at that point. I shit you not. Anyway.
He's like, yes. Anyway. Right then, I do everything normally. Like right then, where I shit right in my pants.
Hey, listen, right, okay. I don't deal with spiders, Ellie doesn't deal with cockroaches, right? Okay, if a roach rocks up, I have to step up, and I do. I deal with the roach problem, right? Okay? I will deal with it, especially as we can... Not as big as the ones we got up in Auckland. Like, up in Auckland, they were like... Some of them were getting...
Some of them you just like, I'm just going to keep you as a pet, you're too big to kill. He's like, I have a size 12 shoe, and I'm still too afraid to stomp on you because I don't think it's big enough.
Oh, no. You don't squish them. Well, ideally you do squish them, but you don't spray them, that's it. Because when you spray them, they fire their eggs everywhere. So then suddenly, you'll notice a couple of, months later, there'll be tiny little babies running around. And you just have to squash them, sort of thing. So apparently crushing them is the best way, but sometimes you see some of these sods, you're like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
The ones in New York where you actually see them, you're like, fuck me, the rats are big in New York. And then you just see this bloody, this roach just have a rat over its shoulder and walking down. You're like, my God, that's the biggest rat I've ever seen. It's being carried by a cockroach. I do not want to be here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, we're going to call it quits right there. I'll say a nice, good, short, sharp episode, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to remind you all that you can find us available on all good podcast forums, as well as see our beautiful face available on our YouTube channel, as well as Spotify at Dorks Down Under, and you can follow us on our social medias, which is on TikTok and X at Dorks Down Under as well. So thank you very much for all the love and support. Please make sure you do share. It does help. It helps with all the algorithms, helps us get out there and everything else. So thank you very much.
Layers.
Peace.